Hello, this is Emmanuel with the Grab Some Popcorn podcast, and welcome to Standalone, our solo movie reviews. Here at the Grab Some Popcorn podcast, we love talking movies, but sometimes we don't always love the same movies, and that's why we started Standalone, a space to share our individual takes. So sit back, relax, and get ready for this solo breakdown. Today, I'm going to be talking about Avatar, Fire and Ash. This movie is directed by James Cameron with a $400 million budget. It stars Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver, Kate Winslet, Michelle Yeoh, and more. I've seen the previous movies. The franchise started in 2009, and there are 3 movies in the franchise. So prepare to dive back into the breathtaking depths of Pandora in Avatar, Fire and Ash, where the stakes have evolved from a battle for resources to a war for the soul of the planet. Just as we mastered the oceans, James Cameron introduces the Ash People, a fierce volcanic Na'vi clan that challenges everything we thought we knew about the balance between hero and villain. With Jake and Neytiri's family pushed to their breaking point, this third chapter promises a visceral, emotional odyssey that proves the greatest threat to Pandora might not just come from the stars, but from within the fire itself. What makes this chapter different? The Ash People, a more aggressive, antagonistic side of Na'vi culture, new environments from lush jungles and deep oceans to harsh volcanic wastelands, and the narrative shift. Loak, Jake's son, takes over as the primary narrator, signaling a passing of the torch. So, some first impressions. So I'd like to start off saying that I'm a pretty big fan of Avatar franchise. I always wish that the movies were shorter, but I always enjoy them thoroughly regardless of how long they are. This movie started off in Pandora with the characters we all know and love. It doesn't take long to be drawn in by the fantasy tribes, the setting on their planet, the powers, the creatures, and we quickly get reminded that there's a war going on with the Colonel and his people against some of the tribes of Pandora. My first impression, it hooked me right in because the story kind of picked up right where it left off. There was some action happening right away, and it hooked me right in. I watched the first hour clean through. Let's talk about some defining moments. So, I don't think there was a single defining moment for me. There might be some spoilers ahead, so be warned. Some notable moments were definitely when I got introduced to the Fire Tribe. They're a very intense bunch with their own history and culture. In this movie, the Colonel actually teams up with the Fire Tribe, which makes it difficult for the Water and Forest tribes to fight against them because the Fire Tribe turns out to be the most ruthless and dangerous of them all. Another moment that I remember clearly was when the leader of the Fire Tribe gave the Colonel a potion of some sort to peer into his soul. That was a pretty intense moment as the sniper stood a distance away to cover the Colonel's tracks. The most epic moment was obviously towards the end when the Water and Forest tribes went to war against the Colonel, his troops, and the Fire Tribe. They had to call upon the power of the creatures, of the sea, and the magic of the forest to be able to survive the threat. The final battle was epic and intense. Another notable moment was when one of the pregnant women from one of the tribes had a baby right before she died. And I'm not sure if this was to signal that there was going to be another movie because I do believe that that baby was born of royalty. So I'm not sure if that was a signal that there might be a new, prince or king or princess. Let's talk about some standout elements. So there were many standout elements. I'm going to list the ones that stood out to me the most. First and foremost, the CGI was amazing, as it is in all Avatar movies. The mix of CGI characters and real live action characters together in the same world is done very well. And the fantasy elements like magic and creatures were done well. It had elements of modern day war, tribal war, mystical lands, family elements, the elements of the humans versus avatars conflict, science, and more. There are so many things going on in the movie, but they all blend together so well that you don't notice just how much stuff is actually going on and how they're CGI characters walking around in a real world situation. It just looks normal. So, what keeps the movie from greatness? And I don't think anything is keeping this movie from greatness. I think that this movie was a great movie, and that really the only gripe that I have is that it's over 3 hours long. Because I'm one of those people who has a hard time sitting still for such a long time, and so watching a movie over 3 hours long, I start getting finicky and doing stuff like playing on my phone and daydreaming. The Avatar movies are great, and I love seeing the new tribes in the CGI time and time again, regardless of how long they are. So, who's the movie for? I think this movie is for anyone and everyone. It just has so many elements to it that everyone from action fans to fantasy fans to fans of animated movies would love it. People who are fans of magic and mystical creatures and lands would love it. And it even has a love story and some scandal. It has something for everyone, and I think that almost anyone can watch it. Hot take. So, this is the third movie in the franchise, and we've met the Forest Tribe, the Water Tribe, and the Fire Tribe. I'm thinking in my head, what are they going to do now? Make a different element tribe? I don't think that would be a good direction to go in. I'm trying to think what would be the best idea for the next movie. It seems like the humans keep on trying to move in and kill off the inhabitants of the planet. You have creatures and forest magic having to happen to ward off the humans from killing everyone off in almost every movie. So I only see the final movie, or the next movie, one of two things can happen. Either the humans come in and finally annihilate everyone, or the avatars find a way to make it to Earth and start trying to annihilate everyone on Earth, which opens the door for a couple of more movies or a new franchise. Either way, I don't think having another new tribe would be the way to go for the fourth movie. But that's just my opinion. So, score and final thoughts. So this movie definitely gets an A from me. I can't give it a perfect 10 out of 10 because it was just too long for me to sit clean through the entire movie without looking at my phone or starting to daydream a bit. So, I give it a 9.5 out of 10. It's a must watch if you're a fan of Avatar or any sort of fantasy movies in general. The CGI is so good that you literally just see one of those big, tall, blue tribal avatars walking around on an army base as if they belong there. If you're like me and can't sit still for that long, I highly recommend maybe just waiting until it comes out on streaming and then watching the movie in 2 parts whenever you have the capability to pause it. Avatar 3 has so many different elements working together for it that it's got something for everyone, like I said, and I definitely would recommend to watch it, whether it be in theater for the sound and visuals or at home for the comfort of being able to pause it halfway through. Definitely one of the best movies of the year that I've seen. And yeah, that's my take on Avatar Fire and Ash. This is Emmanuel with the Grab Some Popcorn podcast, and I'm over and out for now. Until next time.